a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is Mitu.
And my name is BJ.
And this week, we're watching Pulse on Netflix.
So stay tuned to find out what role Mitu would have in an ER.
Well, hopefully not patient.
You get to choose.
Okay. Until then, why don't you let us know what happened in this listener-requested review?
Sure. Pulse on Netflix is a medical drama that follows the personal and professional lives of doctors and staff at a busy Miami trauma center. Our lead is Dr. Danny Sims, played by Willa Fitzgerald, a third-year medical resident whose tumultuous personal life is rivaled only by the hurricane barreling toward Magic City.
Ooh, what a description.
It sounds exciting, doesn't it?
And we do get some of that excitement specifically for this medical procedural in our first case of the week.
That's true. We start off, there's a storm coming as this hurricane's heading our way, and a bus full of soccer players and their coach drives off a bridge.
I thought that was a really good case for us to get to know Danny. We learned that she, in the premise of the show, this is a very light spoiler, reported the chief resident for harassment and thus, to her big surprise, was offered his role of chief resident. That happens in truly the first 2 minutes. And
over someone else.
Over her bestie, another resident, Sam, played by Jesse T. Usher. And so I thought that this bus crash was a great way to see how Danny operates. And frankly, it's very well.
Yes, we do see her dealing with patients of varying levels of trauma, some people with minor injuries, someone with a missing limb, someone who needs surgery. We even see someone related to one of the cast members, and there's a bit of drama related to their well-being.
Danny was right.
Agree. Danny made the right call.
We don't have to say much more, but she was right. And I cannot be convinced otherwise.
It was the professional and appropriate decision.
Yes.
So speaking of that, we both agree Danny did well at this promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel about her bestie, Sam, who is saying supportive things, but isn't fully acting supportive?
He's clearly hurt. He's hating from outside the club. And you get it. The show is from Danny's perspective, so let me not be mad at Sam. The show is from her perspective, which taints my view of his actions. If I'm looking at it in a vacuum, when he kind of, let's say, dings her toward the end of the episode, it does make sense because he's wondering what the hell happened that he is not chief resident now that this person has been at least temporarily ousted, rather than Danny, who never conceivably wanted the role. And it seems like they were close, are close. And so she would be aware of his very big desire for the role. They even had a kind of weird little interaction about it where she sort of apologized.
True. You're right. I need to step back, recognize we are seeing it from Danny's perspective, because even Danny was surprised she was chosen over Sam. So whether or not it's a skill issue, because they're both third-year residents, he seemed to be next in line. And that would be tough to process while you're dealing with people whose lives are on the line.
Yes. I mean, that's the backdrop of the show. I think that is the most compelling part of the show that otherwise kind of felt a bit meh to me, is it was smart to set it in an emergency room. It's almost like ER was a successful model of drama. And I also liked our department chair, Dr. Natalie Cruz, played by Justine Machado of One Day at a Time fame. I mean, she's done many things, but I loved the show One Day at a Time on Netflix. And we see a little bit of her reasoning for why she appointed Danny chief resident. And to me, for now, it seems flimsy.
Yes, we get hints at maybe some office/administrative politics going on, where hiring Danny or promoting Danny was the appropriate thing to do, even if it wasn't her first choice.
Yes. And then the other drama I would say is with the younger residents. We have Dr. Perez, played by Daniela Neves, where the other interns, I want to say she's an intern, or she could be a younger resident. I can't remember. But
Perez, I guess she's a student, which counts.
Okay.
Same.
The other young medical figures basically say like, in the ER, we're supposed to have kind of a haggard, hungry look, and you're sitting here stunting in a cute outfit and makeup. And so she responds to them, and it appears as though she's kind of shaken by what they're saying. And she's like, so you're saying I stand out? And they nod as if they're offering her this like helpful feedback of like, mess up your hair, look a little paler, come back. And she goes, well, good. I planned to. And I put in my notes exactly in all caps. That is someone I'm going to have my eye on. I love somebody who stands up in exactly who they are. And she said, I'm going to look nice. If you want to go for the malnourished thing, go for that. For me, I am going to look like I have a healthy carb, fiber, and protein intake, a little makeup, a nice dress. I say this as someone myself who wears like sweatpants every day as I work from home. So I'm not saying that's something you have to do. What I'm saying is I really liked that little moment with her character. And then the main person offering her feedback, Sophie, lots to prove, not doing it in a good way.
No, I will echo your comments. Happy to see Camilla taking that time to pamper herself, put herself together. Let her do it until she doesn't have the energy to.
Yeah.
It's doing no harm. Sophie, she really needs to question the people around her to see if they are allies or not.
Yeah.
Because we see some haters like Tom Cole, played by Jack Bannon, who they are out for themselves.
Yes.
And they will throw you under the bus or off a bridge if they need to.
This is a light spoiler. They're in an ER procedure room. Tom tells Sophie, stand out, step up, jump in the action, do something useful in this room. Don't just like observe the medical action. Very next patient that comes in, she does not wait until it is particularly safe to do so. And she just hacks into this person's lung to the point where I had to mute my television. Like I could not handle both seeing and hearing it. So I was like, let's just go captions and sight. Especially because she takes this steadying breath before she cuts into this guy that if I were a patient and I saw someone kind of go, all right, you got this, Sophie, I'd be like, I'm actually going to need you to take 5 steps back away from my body. Like I'm actually going to. And then they're debating why she's doing this over the patient's body. And then when she is, of course, reprimanded for this move, even though thankfully this patient makes it, Tom is like, what are you talking about? Who told you to just jump in on the action? Fully abandons her.
Tom didn't try and help at all.
No.
And he blamed her.
Yes. And a little bit, he's right. Far be it from me to say a sexist man is right. But I think he's right specifically from the perspective of she should have never listened to him. So I blame her not like Tom was right, you were wrong. Let me amend that. But more like you need to keep your head on a swivel. If your quote unquote mentor is Tom, you need to take the loss on real mentorship. Maybe talk to Sam. And whatever Tom tells you to do, he tells you to take a left down the hall. Go ahead, take a right.
That's true. This is a lesson for you, Sophie. Don't listen to Tom. What was his nickname? Cinnabon or something?
He doesn't even come off as trustworthy. That's not a trustworthy person's nickname.
It's a strange nickname that they don't explain.
Like, don't follow the lead of Auntie Anne's. Don't do that.
So, Me Too, we have talked about quite a few characters, and there are more in this ER that we haven't even mentioned yet.
Yeah.
How did you feel getting introduced to so many people around Danny?
Leading question, but I'm going where you're leading me. Too many people. Or I think for a show like this, how we've seen ensembles work well in the past, it's not quite an apples to apples. It's more like an apples to ER. But we recently watched Modern Family, and I thought they did such a great job of introducing like 10 people pretty neatly in 20 minutes. But the way that they did it and the way that they do it well on these ensemble shows that we've seen is they'll focus on like one family or one relationship. Or in this show, it could have been like focusing a little bit more than they did on Danny, just so that we're at least have like a really strong sense of our anchor character. And then we interact with all the other people. Because we met like truly maybe 15 people.
Yeah, there are even the nurses we didn't talk about yet.
Yes.
I think my summary highlights this well, that it is their personal and professional lives. And that's where it became too crowded. It felt too crowded at times in the episode. We saw everyone being introduced. We got hints at their friendship, out of work life for some people. And we saw them do everything to every person from that bus crash. And that's a lot to fit in. We can't see all of that. You got to pick personal or professional.
I agree. And I thought this was a great first case, and it could have given us even greater insight into Danny than we already have if we had focused on this first case of like bus crash chaos. Though, email us at askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. I'm curious about how they did it on Grey's Anatomy. I have literally never seen an episode of that show, which feels wild to say as a TV recap and review person with you. But I've only seen the last like 4 minutes of quite a few episodes because it was right before Scandal. Remember when Shonda Rhimes was low-key the CEO of ABC?
You were getting ready and you just caught the tail end.
Especially like those first like 3 seasons of Scandal where it was truly appointment television.
You went to watch parties, I remember.
And then I stopped because I said, no talking. Gonna have to retreat to my home. Or when I watched it with other people, it was in total silence. And so we would always catch like 4 minutes of Grey's Anatomy because you don't want to miss anything because so much would happen in that cold open on Scandal. So all that said, let us know, how did they introduce the girls on Grey's Anatomy? Or if you want us to watch that pilot, email us.
Yeah, I've definitely seen episodes, but I have not seen the pilot. It was something I would just catch randomly, so I don't know how they handled a large cast.
I feel like Grey's Anatomy was introduced around the same time as The Office, like the comedy lineup of Thursday night NBC. And so there was just no chance that I was not watching like The Office and 30 Rock and Parks and Rec and Scrubs. Like my Thursday nights were spoken for.
You know, me too. Back in the day, busy on those Thursday nights.
Party.
So will you have a party by watching more episodes of Pulse on Netflix?
I am not a medical drama girl. So I think that I would not watch again, mainly from the perspective of this did not focus enough on the case of the week, where I used to watch, for example, House. I've been watching more of Watson, where that's like a really interesting case of the week, and that's really the big focus. And this one, I'm less interested in the drama between everyone, and I think you'll have to be interested in that to watch more. What I have heard from like Medical Drama Hive, like people who really enjoy Grey's Anatomy and The Pitt and other shows like that, is it's really a mixed bag of reviews. So I would say if you're a Medical Drama Hive, maybe check this one out. Maybe give it a couple episodes to see if it picks up.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch again, maybe while folding laundry. I like the medical aspect of it. I'm a fan of medical dramas, and I think the case of the week was cool, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in an ER with the hurricane coming.
Yeah.
And Dani is probably the most interesting character. She is the lead and the one we learn the most about. But I do want to hear more about her relationship with her coworkers. We get some hints about her past. Her sister is another cast member, and her home life. A little teaser at the end of what she goes home to every day. So I want to see that unfold.
That was a big reveal.
Yeah, it wasn't just a teaser. That was a huge drop.
Yeah, it was like, let's go ahead and flip this whole concept on its head.
So me too. If you were in an ER and you got to choose any role, let's say you instantly had all the necessary training, experience, knowledge, what role would you choose?
I would be an administrator so that there's like less stakes of having to either have something done to me medically or do something to someone else medically. And I feel like as an administrator, high key, you can help people. You could really ruin someone's day still, like the stakes are still high, but you could like say, you know what, you didn't hear from me, but take this form, put this form over it, go down to this office, ask for this thing, and then you can help bring someone's like medical bill down, for example.
Oh, wow. You'll be a hero for the right people.
I would try to, kind of like the Invincibles. Do you remember when Mr. Invincible, I can't even remember if that's the name of the main hero, but that dad character, when he worked at a health insurance company and he would be like, look, and he'd just whisper into the phone, like, try this form, ask for this guy, and then he got in trouble.
I do remember that scene now. Wow.
Yeah. I would try to do it like that.
That really stuck with you.
Yes.
Well, if you want to find out some other things that Mitu might do if I put her in fictional scenarios, or you just want to hear our reviews, head to our website at thepilotpodcast.com, and you can follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
I have to say this. It's The Incredibles, not The Invincibles.
That's why I was confused.
Yes, it's The Incredibles, and it's Mr. Incredible.
Because I thought about Invincible on Prime, and I was like, that's not what she's talking about.
No, not a good dad. Okay. You can also follow us on social media at The Pilot Pod, and you can send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, your favorite cartoon superheroes to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.